Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio.
Zaron.
Elizabeth.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm well. Nice.
Thank you. Look at us. Both of us well at the same time.
Healthy hail. God bless.
I love it.
Listen, you know what's ridiculous?
I do, and I'm so glad you asked. Because I wanted to share this one.
Please do.
So there's this guy. He, well, I don't know how to best put it. This happened a couple years ago, like in 2023, I think. He was a Florida man, so you know it's going to get good.
Sure.
He was just hanging out near a dog park, and he saw that the owner walked away from their car, so he went in, rummaged around, and he found the keys were in the cup holder. So he stole the man's BMW, and then he drove off.
Okay.
Apparently he was speeding because he was just not very good at driving a BMW, or he was just so cool with man, I can't believe how fast BMWs go. He got up to 100 miles an hour and then he crashed the car in a single vehicle accident all by himself. So I'm imagining he
2 blocks away,
he hit a tree, and then passing motorists saw that. They're like, oh my goodness. They pulled over, and then they pulled him from the totaled car.
Yeah.
Right. And then the cops arrive at the crash scene. And this guy, his name is Calvin Johnson. He was 36 years old at the time. He's kind of out of it, but I do not think that explains what I'm about to tell you.
Uh-oh.
Because I think he would have said this even if he had not bumped his head on the steering wheel. So the cops were like, so what happened here? And he's, oh man, you guys saved me from the aliens. And they're like, what? And so then they took him to a local hospital where he was placed under guard because they realized the car was stolen. And on top of that, Johnson had also told the police that, how he got into the stolen car was that he was teleported into the car by the aliens. So,
but what if he's telling the truth?
He also made a passing reference to the X-Men movies and comics books.
Okay.
So he was I think probably referencing Nightcrawler. He was like, bam, all of a sudden I'm there. I'm in the car. I'm doing 100 miles an hour. So they were like, okay. He gets charged with Grand Theft Auto, driving on a license that was suspended. And also, there you go. That's pretty much it. Man claims that he was teleported into a stolen car by aliens to get out of charges.
What if he was telling the truth?
There is that possibility, Elizabeth.
You can't rule that out.
I think if we're lucky, we should one day find a Florida sheriff or policeman who will tell us all the various just the best stories they've ever heard from people trying to get out of crimes.
Oh man,
that could go for a full
amazing.
Hour. Just
amazing.
Right, you want to go year by year or alphabetical? How do you want to do this? So there you go.
That is ridiculous. Do you want to know what else is ridiculous?
Please.
Losing your best magic trick. This is Ridiculous Crime. It's a podcast about absurd and outrageous capers, heists, and cons. It's always 99% murder-free and 100% ridiculous.
Oh, you damn right. You heard the nice lady.
You heard me. Spies, man. Spies. Do you think you'd make a good spy?
Depends on the context.
I mean, it's a type of criminal.
Yeah, no, I think that I have some of the skill sets for it, but I'd have to, because you have to be duplicitous and lie to the people, I'd have to really believe in the mission. You couldn't just make me a spy and drop me off anywhere. I'd have to believe that it was necessary to do this because I have a hard time lying to people who I think are not worthy of being lied to. But if I believe they're worthy of being lied to, you better believe it. I'd be the best damn spy you could send in there.
Yeah, I am not sure I'd be the best spy. I can sort of blend in as a white lady of a certain age.
Sure, you got that.
You get to a point where you become invisible, which is both nice and kind of a bummer.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
But it makes for a good spy.
Great spy.
I would guess. And I've been thinking a lot lately about the French Resistance. No reason.
No reason whatsoever.
I think that I would have been amazing in that.
Yes.
Because a saboteur, I can mess stuff up really well. So let's take advantage of that. Go next level. Putting the metal plates on the railroad tracks and stuff like that. Blowing whistles.
Blow the whistle.
Doot, doot, doot. Misinformation. As Billy Bragg sang, if you've got a blacklist, I want to be on it.
Ooh.
He also sang in the same song, Waiting for the Great Leap Forward, another favorite line of mine, the revolution is just a t-shirt away.
Yeah,
I sing that to myself when I put on my U.S. out of California t-shirt. Rebel, rebel. Okay, but so the whole like Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy thing.
Yes, talk that talk.
Yeah, it's too tense for me.
Really? How so?
It's too much stress.
It's a wigwam?
Yeah,
it's a teepee? It's too tense?
It's too tense. Oh, Zaron, that was beautiful. That I work really hard to keep my day-to-day life as like to tamp down the stress.
Yes, it is
Never
true.
going to be stress-free, but to minimize the stress.
Stress, anxiety, the things
and it's worth it.
Yep, for
it's
you,
totally
yes.
worth it. So anyway.
I try to introduce stress and anxiety into my life. I'm like, how can I bike on the edge of a cliff?
Yes. How can I make this situation worse? You told us earlier this week about some World War II battles.
Yes.
And I told you recently about World War II spies.
Yes.
The doll lady, the folks up in New York in that house.
With the radio?
Yep, with the radios and the such. I'm going to close out my spy triptych today.
Ooh, a spy triptych.
Yeah,
Look
so
at you.
I'm going to move it
Hieronymus
forward.
Bosch over here.
It's all of these earthly delights. I'm going to move it forward a little to the Cold War.
Okay.
So back when we were unfriendly with the USSR, and we had all sorts of spycraft, it was different from what went down during World War II.
Yes.
So like the English had more classic spy stuff going on then, double agents and that sort of thing. And they'd have someone drop behind enemy lines who would pretend to be a Nazi sympathizer or something, like basically wearing a trench coat.
Sure. Yeah.
Playing a part. But you get into the Cold War, you got the two Germanys, The Lives of Others and all that stuff. You ever seen that movie?
No.
Great, good movie. It's a powerful drama, Zaron.
I love those.
I say that because I couldn't remember the name of the movie and I had to blind Google it.
Uh-huh.
And like East German spy others. And I saw the movie described as a powerful drama. Powerful drama. So yeah, the Cold War was tense, brother. Two eventual superpowers quietly going at it. We've got the CIA for intelligence over on stateside with help from the FBI. They, meaning the Russians, the Soviets, had the KGB. The Soviet Union may not still exist, but you can't tell me the KGB isn't still kicking and running things.
Oh, yeah. They just changed the letters to FSB.
Precisely. And they know how to mess with us. They play the long game.
Very good at the long game.
Very good at the long game. So let's talk about Cold War spy stories.
Yes.
And I have one particular incident that's super ridiculous. It's right up our alleys.
Perfect. It's
Yes.
a crime?
Yes, it is.
I'm teasing now.
Yes, it is. So we're going to start in 1948.
Okay.
And that's when the KGB sent an experienced illegal operator, is what they would refer to these as, William Genrakovich Fisher, sent him to North America. And he traveled under the name Andrew Coyotes. And he had the real Coyotes' passport.
Okay.
Don't ask questions. I've said too much. He used the passport to enter Canada and then cross into the United States in November of 1948.
Okay.
So once he gets into the United States, he sheds that identity. And with help from another KGB illegal operator, Yosif Grigulevich, Fisher picks up a new identity. He gets his hands on genuine but repurposed American documents in the name Emil Robert Goldfuss. Goldfuss. This was one of those old con moves where they took the identity of a male child who died as an infant.
Oh, yeah, the classic.
Goldfuss, he's a New Yorker who died in infancy.
Yeah.
And so the NKVD, that's the predecessor to the KGB, they got the dead kid's birth certificate years earlier.
Just in case they needed to put somebody into.
Just for future. Long game, I'm telling you, planning ahead.
It's that chess mind.
It is. So by late 1940s, early 50s, Fisher, Emil, he's living quietly in New York. What's his code name?
What's his code name, Elizabeth?
Good question. Mark. There's a lot happening with that. Like, he's like, my name is Emil, but folks call me Mark. It kind of makes me think of our discussions about the like really common Gen X millennial names.
Oh, yeah.
So like number one is Josh.
Yeah. Josh.
Mark is in there.
Mike, Scott.
Kevin,
Aaron.
Brian, Dave.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
For the gals, Jennifer.
Jen's got to be the top
Michelle,
one.
Stephanie.
Yeah, a lot of
Heather,
Stephanies.
Teresa. So Mark. My name's Mark. He ran a Soviet espionage network that handled atomic and defense-related secrets.
Okay.
And he used couriers for his work. For example, Morris and Lona Cohen, they had been associated with Julius and Ethel Rosenberg.
Oh, the classic.
Yeah, and I'll remind you, as you probably well know, the Rosenbergs were U.S. citizens who spied for the Soviets during the Cold War. It cost them their life.
Yes.
Espionage is serious stuff. So this wasn't easy work, getting the secrets to the bosses. Soviet intelligence relied on what those in the biz call clandestine tradecraft.
Love that way you say that.
This is stuff like dead drops in parks and bridges.
Yes.
Coded radio transmissions. Spy gear.
Leaving stuff like in newspapers and magazines.
Yes, like you sit next to someone on a bench and you put your briefcase down next to their identical briefcase.
Oh.
Zaron, you know how it is.
I love that. I try doing that with my friends and they always bring the wrong briefcase. I'm like, we timed this.
I do it to strangers.
Dude, you just take their briefcase?
Yeah, you see a stranger like with a bag and you go and you set it down and you walk off. They're like, wait. There's something called the Bulgarian umbrella.
Ooh, what's that?
And it shot out a dart poisoned with ricin. The old Bulgarian umbrella.
Dang.
Yeah. There was an anal CIA toolkit.
A what?
And so it was like a good-sized capsule thing that contained little tools and like a file and knife blades. It's basically like a Swiss Army knife, but in a rounded tube.
And you just kept it prison style?
Yeah, you stuck it up there, and if you're caught, you could poop it out and use the tools to escape and get poop on your hands.
Yeah. Apparently they
bonus.
Okay, I guess back then the prisons didn't do the whole like open your cheeks, bend over.
Yeah, but like squat and cough. No. The KGB had transmitters that they would build into the heels of shoes.
Okay, this I'm familiar with.
Yeah, complete with batteries, microphones, and they'd rig up the shoes of a target so they could listen in on their conversations and like all the walks that they took.
And also people were getting their shoes shined back then.
Yeah.
So like when like Castro visited the United Nations, he left his shoes outside of his hotel to have them shined. And the CIA is like, let's get our hands on those shoes.
Yeah, get up in there. Yeah, exactly. The Soviets also made a lipstick gun.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, they called it the kiss of death. And you'd twist the base and it would shoot out a single bullet.
Huh.
And then there'd be me, like, dig through my purse to put the lipstick on.
Shoot
Kablamo, take a lip off. And then, of course, they had, like, disappearing ink pens.
Oh, nice.
The ink disappeared, not the pen.
I assume this is not like the kids' lemon juice version.
No. According to history on the net, I swear to God, I'm finding the best, like, solid, most reputable websites lately.
Great sources.
History on the net, quote, "The accepted method to conceal ink used to be wet writing. An agent would write with ink on the paper, steam it, let it dry, re-steam the paper to remove any indentations, let it dry again, and then write something on top to cover the original message. It took up a lot of time and effort. During the 1950s, the KGB developed a quicker method, disappearing ink pens." But they don't tell us what the must be like.
Yeah, a lot of the other like I'll tell you all about what they used to do, and none of the thing you looked up.
Thanks, history on the web. And then there were trick concealment devices like hollow bolts or like everyday objects that had been like hollowed out.
I have a bunch of those actually.
Do you?
No, I legitimately do. I've got like a lot of fake products. Like, but I also have like a Sharpie pen that I can like unscrew, but you can write with it. If you take the top off, somebody's like wants to use it, it works. But then I can unscrew it and I can like put my weed in there or whatever and
that's
travel
why you have
internationally.
these things.
Pretty much, I have it all for traveling with weed. I have like I've got like shaving cream. I've got fake lenses for cameras.
Really?
I've got a ton of fake things. Yes,
purely for traveling with weed.
No, my dad got me into it a long time ago when I would go to visit him, and he would like give me like pot to travel back to see my mother, and then I would like have to do it, and so he's like, this is how I do it. I would like, get a couple cans of whatever, and he had like these screw top cans that he got from like High Times magazine, and he would put them in a cooler. But my favorite is that sometimes when he had a large amount, he wouldn't put it in anything. He would just put it in his dirty laundry, and then he would put like some dirty underwear on top. He's like, no cop's gonna dig through a black man's dirty laundry. I was like, that's putting a lot of trust in racism, Pop.
Really is. Well, I have a story for you today that's about one of those hollowed out concealment devices.
Oh, nice.
You're going to love this. The hollow nickel.
Ooh.
So while Mark is in the U.S. stealing secrets, what's happening back in the USSR?
What is happening back in the USSR,
I wish I knew.
Elizabeth?
The end. Ridiculous crime is okay. No, a Finnish-speaking Soviet citizen named Reno Heijaninen.
First name Reno?
Reino.
Oh, okay, so
Reino.
yeah,
But
not
I
like the
found,
city in Nevada.
No, when I was like looking up the pronunciations of it, it's like either Reino or Reno, and they were saying that the Finnish would be Reno, but it's probably not. And all the Finns are going to be like, Elizabeth,
It's actually Reno.
why do you hate us? Heijainen.
Okay.
Heijainen. He was being groomed for illegal work. So he was born near Leningrad in 1920, and he served the NKVD, the KGB predecessor, during the Soviet-Finnish War, aka the Winter War.
Oh, yeah.
He was an interpreter and a security officer, and then he spent World War II and the post-war years doing counterintelligence in the Soviet North, which is cold.
Yes.
1948, the KGB brings him to Moscow, trained him in photography, codes, clandestine communications, and they gave him a new identity. Eugene Nikolai Maki, M-A-K-I, an American citizen of Finnish descent.
Oh, interesting.
So for several years in Finland, he like painstakingly builds this false identity. He got a genuine Idaho birth certificate for this identity of Maki.
Okay.
And then in 1952, he gets a U.S. passport in that name. So he sails out of Southampton on the Queen Mary, heads for the States, gets to New York, October 21st, 1952. Now he's Eugene Mackey.
American citizen.
Yeah. So before leaving Europe, he had been told that once he got to New York, he should announce his arrival to his new superior, this guy codenamed Mikhail. And the way that he was to do it was to put a red thumbtack on a signpost labeled horse carts near Tavern on the Green in Central Park.
Okay.
So a white thumbtack would signal to him that Mikhail suspected surveillance. So what that means is that if you happen across a random thumbtack on a telephone post or something, take it off and put it somewhere else or toss it in the trash. Loose lips sink ships, Zaron. We all have to do our parts. So
I do love how that stuff is just innocuous things that nobody would really take a second look at, but it's totally sending a very powerful message.
Exactly. So Maki, like he followed these instructions and made contact with Mikhail, who was later identified as Soviet UN official Mikhail Severin. And so once they make contact, Maki worked as a courier. He handled dead drops and communications for the networks. And when I say dead drops, let's imagine he was doing that Vogue dancing splits move backwards on the ground. I love that.
That is cool. Those dead
love
drops.
That. So good. And so as part of his equipment, the KGB gave him this assortment of concealment devices. So he had like hollow pens like you have.
Nice.
Pencils, screws, batteries, coins. Some were magnetized so they could cling to metal surfaces. Like that's the best part of spying, the gadgets.
Really? I think it's my favorite part.
I mean, that's what we think of with James Bond, right? Q coming through with like
that is true.
The pens that are guns and like the oil slick out of the back of the Aston Martin.
Even when like you do investigations into the actual CIA, they always cite like, I want some of those James Bond gadgets.
Yeah.
You're like, you guys? Like, what the hell?
You bought into it? So Maki, he has all these toys, like spy things. And among them is a hollow Jefferson nickel. And he'd picked it up at a dead drop at some point, like late 1952, early 1953, but he never used it. He didn't properly use it.
Okay.
Inside that coin was a micro photograph that had a coded message from Moscow in it. And the Soviets intended it as a welcoming instruction for this new agent in America.
That's crazy.
But instead, the nickel slipped out of his hands and into the stream of everyday New York change.
Are you kidding me? He lost the dead drop nickel?
He lost the dead drop nickel. In fact,
that is the danger of making something a coin.
It could be as long as 7 months. The coins circulated anonymously through the city.
You know me, I used to be, when I was a very young boy, into magic, and I would buy double-sided nickels, so that way when you flipped it, it always came up the same thing. It was always tails or always heads.
Yeah.
And I could only keep one of those for like a month before I would spend it as change. Exactly. And I'd always be so frustrated. I'm like, Zaron, put it in the special pocket of your Levi's.
Well, so you're going to relate to this.
I 100% do. It's so relatable, Elizabeth.
Let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to track that nickel.
Yeah.
Welcome
Hey, I'm back.
Привет. When we last spoke,
You say хорошо. What are you, being rude?
I'm so rude. Soviet spy gets a hollow nickel, then loses it immediately.
Yeah, I'm up to it.
That is the kind of spy I would be. Like, I would probably, I'd like obsess over not losing it.
Yes.
And then I'd use medical tape to fasten it to my bosom.
Yes.
And then I'd be like constantly physically aware of it being there at all times. And then it would stress me out and I'd get all sweaty and then the tape would get damp and lose its stickiness. And I'd be like riding the subway and get up from a seat and it would slip off and fall to the ground. Then I'd go to a store and I'd try on clothes in the dressing room and like go to change and I'd see that the tape was gone and the color would drain from my face. But then the heat would rise up on my face and I'd have a panic attack.
And then you tried to like really quickly mentally calculate all the places you've just been.
Zaron, this is stressing me out just thinking about it. Like I'm spiraling the thoughts. No, stop. Okay. Zaron.
It must be so difficult to be
You have no idea.
I really don't.
Close your eyes.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yes.
Okay. My eyes are closed.
I want you to picture it. It's Monday evening, June 22nd, 1953. You are Jimmy Bozart, a 14-year-old paperboy. Freckle-faced and apple-cheeked, you wear your ginger hair slicked into a good boy haircut. You're a hard worker, very personable, and that's what makes you really good at one part of your job, collections. Tonight, you are collecting for the Brooklyn Eagle newspaper at 3403 Foster Avenue in the East Flatbush section of Brooklyn. It's a massive, standard post-war brick apartment building. Tonight is one of your collection nights. You've gone apartment to apartment, ringing buzzers, knocking on doors, and collecting spare change and small bills from subscribers. You knock at one apartment belonging to a woman. She owes you money for her Eagle subscription, but only had a $1 bill on hand. That's far more than what you're collecting for. Dollar bill, real high roller. The problem is that you don't have a full dollar's worth of change in your pockets. This happens a lot. You just knock on the next door and see if they have change for $1. So you knock on the door across the hall. Door opens, a woman stands before you. You tell her you need change for the woman across the hall. Can they break $1? The woman calls to another woman in the apartment sitting in a chair listening to the radio. She explains the situation. We got change for $1? Newsboy needs it for what's-her-name across the hall. The two women proceed to scrounge around their apartment, digging through purses and drawers and cigar boxes. These are helpful gals, you think to yourself. They huddle together and count out the coins. $1, one calls out, tickled to have collected enough coins for you. She shuffles back to the doorway and you extend your hand, holding the rumpled dollar bill. The woman takes the bill and pours a combination of nickels, dimes, and pennies into your cupped palms. You walk back across the hall and hand the woman her change. She counts out the subscription money and you continue on to the next customer's door. When you're done, you make for the stairs and race down, your feet in quick percussion on the industrial tiles. You get to the ground floor and head down the corridor into the foyer. You're jingling the coins in your hand as you go. You push open the front door of the building and step out into the warm evening. Cars cruise by on Foster Avenue. You pass a group of older teens sitting on the stairs from the building to the street. They're listening to doo-wop on a transistor radio. You continue to jingle the change in your hand, but something sounds weird. You fish around through the coins. There's one in there that has a sort of thinner ring to it, you think. You do this every week. You've memorized the sounds of the coins as you move from building to building. You feel each coin and then lift a nickel from your palm. It's lighter than any nickel you've felt. You click it against another coin. It sounds almost hollow. You balance the nickel on the tip of one finger and flick it upwards to see it flip and fall. When it comes down on the sidewalk, the nickel splits cleanly into two halves. On the ground are Jefferson's Head and Monticello. No longer are they out of sight from each other, and in between them is a miniature circular piece of microfilm. At first, you think it might be a magician's trick coin or some kind of toy. You pick up the two halves of the nickel and the tiny film disc. You see a dense page of numbers on the microfilm, but you can't read them without magnification. You tuck the busted coin into the breast pocket of your shirt and head off to meet up with some friends. Can't wait to show them this crazy coin. So Zaron.
That is so awesome.
This kid had no idea what he was sitting on.
Also, just quick note, Do you love that back then, and I did this as a paper boy, I used to have to go do collections, and we would send children off into the nighttime with like fistfuls of cash or change and go, go get your pay from all these neighbors who you'd been delivering a paper to. And I'd never once got robbed, never even thought about it. But I don't think parents today would have let their children do any of that.
Go to strangers' doors?
Well, would even be a paper boy on a bike riding around throwing this and then going to strangers and asking them for money and then trying to come home and doing this once a month on usually the same time. So people could very quickly figure out like it was this little boy going around with lots of money on him.
Yeah, exactly.
Kids, man, I'm telling you, they had a very different past.
Different time. So Jimmy, right? Mm-hmm. He has no idea. This is crazy.
Oh, yeah. He's got the coolest stuff around.
So he goes and he shows the coin to this neighborhood friend later in the evening.
Of course. His best friend, I assume.
Yes. And so Jimmy, he's raised on like pulp spy stories. Exactly. This looks like something out of a comic book. Or
one of the old radio shows. I mean, this is straight up Green Hornet stuff. Right.
So he and his friend, like they thought it was cool. They didn't really get the importance of what they'd found. Mm-hmm. So the coin gets passed around informally among kids. Like, oh, this guy wants to see it. And like finally, this original friend, his dad is a New York City cop.
Oh, okay.
So the cop hears the kids talking about it, and then they say, well, let's show the dad. Yeah. And then that is how like the chain starts to get it to the FBI. So the New York City cop dad, he takes the coin to a New York City police detective. Mm-hmm. And then that guy goes and interviews Jimmy. And so the detective, he talks to Jimmy, but he realizes a couple of things after looking at this coin, like actually holding it. It's professionally machined.
Yeah, has to be.
The microfilm has all these like unknown coded numerals. And right away, he's like, this is espionage related. This is not a fun magic trick thing. So the detective, he takes the hollow nickel and the microfilm to the FBI's New York City office. That was on June 24th, 2 days after the original discovery. So it passed around every kid in Flatbush before it made its way to the FBI. The New York office immediately is like, okay, that's a microphotograph. If all these 5-digit numbers are arranged in columns, this looks like coded intelligence. Mm-hmm. So they carefully pack it up, ship it to the FBI lab in Washington. The lab gets it on the 26th of June, 1953. So they examine it, and it shows that the device was more sophisticated than just stage magic. Mm-hmm. So the obverse, the face, was a genuine 1948 Jefferson nickel. Okay. And it was drilled with like a nearly invisible hole in the R of trust. Wow. So that you have to use like a fine needle to pop the halves apart. Is how you were supposed to do it, not flick it up in the air and let it hit the ground, Jimmy. And the reverse side was made from a different nickel that had been minted between 1942 and 1945. And they knew that because they had been producing copper-silver alloy.
Yeah, they needed the metals for the war.
Wartime shortages.
I have a couple of those.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe you have a fake one.
I wish.
And then we have the round microphotograph. Yes. 10 columns of 5-digit groups. Think about how tiny that has to be inside a nickel. 21 numbers in most of the columns. So we have 207 5-digit groups. Wow. That's crazy. That's tiny. And this is looks like it's a photo reduction of a typed page.
Yeah, completely. That's what I was kind of imagining. Like it's like microfiche.
Right. So lab specialists, cryptanalysts, they tried all these different standard techniques on the numerical groups, but they couldn't break the cipher. And then they tried to identify the typewriter from which like the original page had been produced.
I'm wondering if it's like if it corresponds to a book and page numbers.
Well, that's the thing. They're trying absolutely everything. Their reference collection covered U.S. manufactured typewriters, but none of them match. So they're like, okay, so we can say it's a foreign typewriter. Yeah. But that doesn't really get you too far.
Doesn't help much.
Yeah. The cipher specialists, they jump into it. Field agents in New York, they're trying to trace the physical coin, but the cipher specialists just keep cracking at it. They're not making any headway. The field agents, they find the two women who gave the change to Jimmy that evening. Yeah. And both remembered Jimmy, but neither of them ever heard of a hollow coin. And they were like, no, we gave him ordinary money. We didn't have anything crazy like that.
Well, I'm sure they were worried about suspicions or
Sure, yeah. So agents, they canvassed novelty and magic shops. They showed pictures of the nickel and they were asking if anyone sold similar, quote, trick coins. One novelty salesman commented that the hollow interior was too small to be useful for stage magic.
Yeah, what would you put in there?
Yeah, everyone's like, we've never seen anything like that. Like, what, like you're saying, what's the point of it? Why would you do that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like they would rather do like what I bought, which is like a double-headed nickel, because then it actually has some value.
Right. But what are you going to do with this tiny little piece of paper?
And that little compartment.
Yeah. So over the next several years,
wow,
FBI offices around the country sent suspicious coins and tokens to the lab. A hollowed $50 from New York, a nickel-plated penny from LA, a pair of hollow pennies from DC. Everything gets examined. None showed the same tool marks or construction details as the Brooklyn nickel.
Oh.
Meanwhile, cipher specialists still at work. Even with help from defectors from communist bloc intelligence services, no one could identify the crypto system that was used. So by the mid-50s, the hollow nickel had become super high priority, but everyone's like, I think it's just unsolvable.
Do you think some of the other spies who decided to flip or defectors, they're like, I didn't get a, why didn't I get a nickel? They didn't tell me
They're
about,
like,
I guess
cool.
I'm not top tier.
I'm not Mark.
Yeah.
So this is obvious espionage. We have this signal without an identified sender, recipient, or message. So it's like a true mystery. The break came almost 4 years after Jimmy dropped the nickel on the floor.
Okay.
In early May of 1957, a man in his mid-30s called the U.S. Embassy in Paris and then showed up in person right afterwards. And he talked to American officials and said that he was an officer in Soviet intelligence who had been operating for the past 5 years in the United States, and that he was now being recalled to Moscow and he wants to defect. Who is this man?
Who is this man, Elizabeth?
Reno Hayedinen.
What? The
Yeah.
OG?
Remember him? Eugene Nikolai Maki.
Yeah.
So he had sailed from the U.S. on the French liner La Liberté, ostensibly to go home to Moscow.
Yeah.
Instead, he gets to Europe, he diverts to Paris, walks into the embassy. CIA officers are kind of skeptical, but then he produces one of his gadgets, a hollow Finnish 5 marca coin containing microfilm. And so they're like, oh, wait, no, he really is a spy.
Yeah, hold the
Like,
presses.
he's for real. So the CIA are holding a coin just like the one that turned up in Brooklyn. Let's stop there for a bit, get some ads in, far more than our recommended daily allowance. And then when we come back, we're going to talk more spy stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Zaron.
Dude, I'm loving this story. Not only does it make me now have to go online after we're done with this so I can go buy myself some more double-headed nickels, but I'm loving this.
This is the hollow nickel.
You remember I gave one to your nephew? I bet he lost it.
You did. He probably did.
Yeah,
It's
like
probably,
within like a week. That's how I used to do it.
I would think
easily
so.
a month.
Most kids can't hang on to it. Yeah. No more than a month, obviously. So where were we? May 11th, 1957. So the American authorities, they fly Maki back to New York, turn him over to the FBI.
Okay.
They give him medical checks. They give him a safe place to live. And then he just goes through these really long debriefings by counterintelligence agents. It's like weeks and weeks of interviews. And so he describes his recruitment, his training under the identity of Eugene Nikolai Maki, his service in New York. He explains how his first boss, Mikhail, met him only rarely, usually in the Prospect Park subway station. And they, communicated through dead drops. So some of these dead drops, right?
Yeah, please.
One was a hole in the concrete steps in Prospect Park.
Okay.
One was at the base of a lamppost in Fort Tryon Park.
Oh, yeah.
We had one at the end of an iron fence near Macombs Bridge.
Huh. Did you ever use things like this? I would use dead drops with friends.
No.
Oh, no?
No.
Huh.
I had no reason to do such a thing.
I was just curious.
I don't have hollowed out stuff.
But you're a smart person. Do you ever needed to give somebody a message where you didn't want anyone else to find it? No?
You have to have friends.
Or do crimes.
Or do crimes.
I did crimes
neither.
with friends. So if I wanted to like leave them something that their parents didn't want to have, like,
okay.
we do dead drops.
No. I just kept to myself.
Yeah, we all knew like which, like, you know, like the top of a banister in a house where you could lift off, or
really?
like some like decoration outside of their home, like one of the bulbs you could unscrew and you put in things like that.
No way.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's some spycraft. You're spy kids.
Well, I've been reading this kind of stuff since I was like, I loved, you know me, I wanted to be a con man or a spy.
Yeah, I can see probably more little boys would do that kind of stuff. No, I did not. Did not. But
Yeah,
again,
I figured
like
you and your brother might.
No, he didn't want to play with me either. So at one of the dead drops, FBI agents found a hollow bolt that had been cemented in place for 2 years by repair workers. And they open it out. They like pry it out. It still had a typewritten note about missed meetings in it.
You don't come to the meetings?
Where have you been, man? He talked about...
We're going to send you back to Moscow.
Come on, like your attendance is abysmal. He talked about all the tools that he used: hollow bolts and coins, hollow pens, pencils, batteries, all intended to conceal tiny messages or lists of numbers. And so they search his home in Peekskill, New York. They find, a ton of these devices. And then they find this one, a Finnish 50 marka coin.
Oh.
And there was a small hole in one letter of the inscription, just like the hole in the R in trust and Jimmy's nickel. And the coin had been made by joining two separate pieces. So lab examiners compared the Finnish coin to the hollow nickel from 1953. They see all these similarities in the design, the workmanship. It became really clear that the Brooklyn coin had probably come from the same espionage apparatus that was now just being like laid out like a beautiful banquet for them by this defecting KGB officer. So once the FBI figures that the hollow nickel is tied to Reno Maki's network, they question him in detail about the codes and the crypto systems that he had been using since the late 30s.
Totally. I think you would have started there, but
you'd think. So using his descriptions, the FBI cryptanalysts, they said, like, let's talk about those 5-digit groups on the microphotograph, please. And it turned out to be a really sophisticated KGB cipher related to what is now known as the Vic cipher, combining this like substitution with transposition with additive elements. The structural key information was supplied by Reno, and the lab finally breaks the message. So by June 3rd, 1957, almost exactly 4 years after the nickel reached the Bureau, the full text was decoded. It was a 5-point message from Moscow Center addressed to a newly arrived illegal agent, almost certainly intended for Reno. So he gets it, loses it. Here's the message he missed. 1, we congratulate you on a safe arrival. We confirm the receipt of your letter to the address V, repeat V, and the reading of letter number 1. 2, for organization of cover, we gave instructions to transmit to you 3,000 in local currency. Consult with us prior to investing in any kind of business, advising the character of this business. 3, according to your request, we will transmit the formula for the preparation of soft film and news separately, together with your mother's letter. 4, it is too early to send you the gammas and cipher short letters, but the longer ones make with insertions. All the data about yourself, place of work, address, etc. must not be transmitted in one cipher message. Transmit insertions separately. 5, the package was delivered to your wife personally. Everything is all right with the family. We wish you success. Greetings from the comrades. Number 1, 3rd of December.
Whoa.
Yeah. All of that
is
inside
so
a
Cold
nickel.
War. Yes.
Yeah, it is super Cold War. So beyond the cipher, Reno gives the FBI far more dangerous information. So he talks about Mark, the man now running the network after Mikhail returned to Moscow.
Oh, yeah.
So he didn't know Mark's real name or his current address, but he knew that Mark was bald and wore this like really distinctive dark snap brim fedora that had a white band.
Okay.
He's all milady. He posed as an artist and photographer in Brooklyn, and he had a studio in the Ovington Studios building on Fulton Street.
So he wasn't attached to like the embassy. He was like actually just free floating.
Right. So they have the description, the location. FBI agents, they're able to identify this middle-aged man living quietly as Emil R. Goldfuss. So surveillance teams, they start watching the studio and its surroundings. On May 28th, 1957, they watch this man who's acting all nervous. He's in a small park opposite Fulton Street. He's kind of like moving around, checking for contacts, then leaving. And the FBI had set up all these hidden cameras to capture this.
Nice.
On June 15th, 1957, the FBI shows the pictures to Reno. He immediately identified, he's like, that's Mark.
There he is. That's my man, Mark.
That's my handler. And so they have positive ID. They intensify the surveillance. So they follow Mark from his studio to the Hotel Latham in Manhattan. And that's where he was staying under the name Emil Goldfuss. And it seemed like he was aware that he was being watched, but he didn't have a valid passport under any of his identities. So he couldn't really like skip the country quickly.
Whoa.
Yeah. Unbeknownst,
that seems like a big like hole in their whole plan. Like,
you'd think you should be able to jump quickly.
You have multiple passports.
So what he doesn't know, Moscow had already decided that he should exfiltrate.
Okay.
So the KGB was in the process of getting him new identities and passports. One in the name of Robert Callan, and then another in the name of Vasily Zogel. And they had all these contacts in Canada that were going to help him out. Yeah. The only problem was that the paperwork wasn't ready in time. So 7 a.m., June 21st, 1957, FBI agents knock on the door of room 839 at Hotel Latham. The occupant opens the door. They addressed him as Colonel. And they told him they had information about his involvement in espionage. The use of his rank, Colonel, which only his KGB colleagues and Reno knew, told him immediately, like, oh my God, Reno sold me out.
The jig is up. So he doesn't say anything. They just take him into custody. After about 20 minutes, the agents called Immigration and Naturalization Services officers, and they arrest him as an alleged illegal alien under the Immigration and Nationality Act. Yeah.
So they search his hotel room. They search the Brooklyn studio. They find a ton of espionage material, like all sorts of stuff.
Is he taking photographs? He's a photographer.
Shortwave radio receivers and transmitters, cipher pads, microdot cameras and film, a hollow shaving brush, hollow bolts, a hollow pencil that had microfilmed encrypted messages in it.
Yes.
He had this hollow ebony block that had a 250-page Russian code book in it.
Whew.
Yeah. They also found...
Got the code book.
They got the actual code book, 250 pages in like this big block of wood.
Yeah.
They also found $6,500 in cash in his hotel room and a key to a safe deposit box that had another $15,000.
Damn.
So he gets flown to the Federal Alien Detention Facility in McAllen, Texas, and he spent weeks there, said nothing, wouldn't say a word. Then suddenly he adopts a new name. He's like, actually, guys, my real name is Rudolph Ivanovich Abel. And they're like, okay.
Should we call you Rudy?
Yeah. And he's like, I'm a Soviet citizen and I am not going to cooperate with U.S. authorities.
Oh.
Yeah.
Prickly.
So Rudolph Abel, though, is actually the name of a dead KGB colleague of his.
He picked a different spy.
So he knew that when Moscow saw that name in the American press, they would know that Mark had been captured and he hadn't talked. Wow. That's how he's signaling to them. So August of 1957, Mark/Emil, he gets transferred back to New York to face federal charges of conspiracy to transmit defense information to the Soviet Union, conspiracy to obtain such information, and conspiracy to act as an unregistered agent of a foreign government.
I wonder if at this point he was worried that they would just cut their losses and he would just be found not breathing anymore.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I think that happened.
Yeah.
He gets formally indicted August 7th. And the Brooklyn Bar Association got him this lawyer, James Donovan, who was a former OSS lawyer. At the trial in October of 1957, the government presents this like super detailed case, and they have all the physical evidence from the studio, the hotel room. They have the testimony of Reno, who explained the codes. He explained the dead drops, concealment devices. He did the dead drop, and the gallery gagged. He was serving spy.
Spy.
So,
I'm going to give you that one.
Thank you. Among the exhibits and like all of these narrative elements was the story of the hollow nickel.
Yeah.
The legend of the hollow nickel. So the government could now tell the jury that the seemingly isolated mystery that started in that Brooklyn hallway in 1953 was part of this huge KGB apparatus that had employed Mark. The coin, the microphotograph, the decoded message all helped tie him to Soviet intelligence. So the jury, they deliberate for 3.5 hours. They come back guilty, all 3 counts.
Of course.
On November 15th, 1957, the judge sentenced him to 30 years in prison and a fine of $3,000. That's $35,000 today. That does not seem like a lot.
Does not.
No. The press ate this up. So media coverage like really quickly picked up on the FBI's internal shorthand, and they start referring to the espionage prosecution as the hollow nickel case.
Of course, that's the sexy element.
It's right. It's just too ridiculous not to highlight. So Mark, he serves his sentence, and they also, I mean, there were pictures of Jimmy getting like a medal of valor.
Oh, yeah, of course, from the FBI.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
like,
just, it's great.
You got a paper boy with a hollow nickel?
It's
I mean,
the
come
best.
on.
The best. So Mark, they send him to prison at the federal pen in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he when he's there, he's like pulling a Martha Stewart. He's painting, studying.
Getting into ceramics.
He wrote logarithmic tables for amusement, which is totally something you would do.
Yes, that is a way to
Are you a spy?
entertain yourself.
And it was also like associating with other imprisoned spies.
They keep them together in that way.
Apparently they had like spy club and they all hung out. February 1962.
I'd love to know the board games they play.
Risk.
Of course. There you go.
Yeah. February 1962, after more than 4 years in prison, he gets released as part of a high-profile spy swap.
Oh, yes. Exchange.
So at the bridge between West Berlin and Potsdam, U.S. and Soviet officials exchanged Rudolf Abel, a.k.a. Mark, for downed U-2 pilot Francis Gary Powers, while at Checkpoint Charlie, the East Germans simultaneously released American graduate student Frederick Pryor. You may remember that scene from Bridge of Spies.
The Tom Hanks movie.
Zaron, it's a powerful drama.
Right? That is
powerful drama starring
like,
starring Tom Hanks, America's sweetheart.
Once you started saying this, I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is the Tom Hanks movie.
It is, and you know what? He's a treasure.
Yes,
and
he
it was
is.
a powerful drama.
And he's from Sacramento.
That is
Raise
true.
up.
And went to Skyline High in
Oakland. Yeah, he considered himself an Oakland boy.
He does.
But he went to Sacramento State for college. And,
America's sweetheart. Back in the Soviet Union, Mark lived out his days as like a celebrated intelligence professional.
Oh, yeah, he didn't flip.
He did lectures about the spycraft, the tradecraft. He did some consulting. And what of the hollow nickel?
What of the hollow nickel?
It lives in the FBI files and in our hearts.
Oh, they don't have
Zaron.
like in one of their cases, like when they like you walk down the hallway and you get to see like random,
I don't know.
like
they have it.
Trophies.
They have it, but it lives in all of us at some point, whether we like it or not.
We've
Zaron,
all touched it.
What's your ridiculous takeaway?
2 things. 1, hobo nickels.
Those are cool. The carved when they
when they carve it because it's one of the softest metals of the coins.
So they're like decorative
it's easy.
elements carved on top of
you
the
can turn like Jefferson into like I don't know, a member of the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, or it's always like a
like Jerry
screaming
Garcia.
skull.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Like a,
So I was like thinking, I'm like, I need to get into hobo like maybe I could actually do that. Like maybe now I have the patience to, if not the artistic talent, to do this.
I think you could.
And then the second one was I can't remember. So isn't that ridiculous?
It's so ridiculous.
What's yours? What's your ridiculous takeaway, Elizabeth?
I love a good spycraft.
Oh yeah,
I love these kind of and the ridiculousness of it of like the stakes were really really high, but there's all these like kind of goofy elements to it and elements of chance. You put something in a hollow bolt. And then workers come by and they're like, oh, this seems loose. And they cement it in. Yeah. And then now you've missed all your meetings. Like, it's just silly.
Oh, I remember what it was.
Yes.
Did you ever see the skit about the guy who does ass pennies?
No.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. But
What?
Yeah. So your girl Amy Poehler was in a comedy group, right? And in one of the sketches, she wasn't in the sketch, but it was this guy on a golf course talking about how he had confidence because he did ass pennies, and the guy's like, "What's that?" And he's like, "For a number of years, I've been putting pennies in my butt, and then like afterwards." I spend them. And so I know, and he does this like crazy math of like how many like hundreds of thousands or millions of pennies he's put out that have all spent time inside of his rectum. And so he's like, anytime I deal with somebody and I'm nervous, I know that they've handled one of my ass pennies and it makes me relax. And so he's like, you need to go get yourself some ass pennies and you'll be a key to success for
That's how you do. That's how you stay calm as a spy.
Yeah.
Ass pennies.
You just know someone's like, that's been in my rectum.
That's perfect.
Damn near killed him.
That is a great takeaway.
Thank you.
Thank
It's
you
ridiculous,
so much.
though.
You know what I think I need?
Upright Citizens Brigade. That was the group.
Oh, yeah. With that, I think I need a talk back.
Talk back. Oh my God, did he just say that?
OMG.
Hi, Elizabeth and Zaron and producer Dave. This is Diana from Oregon. And I just wanted to say I love it when Elizabeth goes on about California history and like how much she loves the Bay Area and stuff, because that's how I feel about Oregon. Sorry, I'm from here and I love it. And, you know, I don't know how many generations, but at least, 5 or something. So yeah, I like that. Keep up the good work.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's really, it feels good to be rooted in a place, you know,
Yes.
and like, especially because sometimes we feel sort of rootless just in general. And so,
Especially as Americans, there's a lot of rootlessness.
and it's really cool to live in a place obviously we live in the moment where we are in.
Yeah, we all live in places.
And to be in the present. But to like look around and figure out what happened, however many decades or
To feel
hundreds of years
connected,
before.
yeah.
And to see how things have changed and evolved. And that's awesome. I love it.
And to have that sense of connection where you can feel pride about something that is not something you had anything necessarily to do, but you've now have an affinity. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think too, like, I was talking to someone recently who had just moved to a place. And you trying to they were moved to Oakland and we're trying to learn more and more about like what had, gone on.
Transpired before they got there.
And the whole history of it. And so I think you don't you're from Oregon and going back several generations. Same for me for California. But I think you don't have to have that to feel rooted and connected to a community. Like you can, get in there and become part of that community and learn that history. And it's just fascinating stuff. But you do feel a little bit special, even though, like you're saying, it's not anything you've personally accomplished, but to have like that long root to the ground is awfully nice.
Like when you can feel like, as you did, not just to repeat the same expression, but rooted somewhere, it gives you a quiet and really pleasing confidence. It's like, oh, this is my place, and it's like I'm going to look out for this, and
exactly
makes you maybe more likely to pick up litter. I mean, who knows?
Honestly, I think we have a problem where people don't feel connected to their communities.
Yeah,
we all agree. We don't get out of like a little online bubble sometimes. So anyway.
And as somebody who has had to get rooted in new places, I definitely recognize the value of it.
Yeah, and you've done that pretty well. But you haven't lost your connection to Atlanta. You still feel that connection.
Expanded my roots.
Right. I think that's awesome. That's the way to do it. That's it for today. You can find us online at ridiculouscrime.com. We're also at Ridiculous Crime on both Blue Sky and Instagram. We're on YouTube at Ridiculous Crime Pod. Email ridiculouscrime@gmail.com and then leave us a talkback on the iHeart app. Please reach out. Ridiculous Crime is hosted by Elizabeth Dutton and Zaron Burnett. Produced and edited by the guy who came in from the cold, Dave Kustin. Starring Annalise Rutger as Judith. Research is by Agent 006 Marissa Brown and Marathon Man Jabari Davis. The theme song is by Spy Kid Thomas Lee and 3 Days of the Travis Dutton. Host wardrobe is provided by Botany 500. Guest hair and makeup by Sparkle Shot and Mr. Andre. Executive producers are the Sum of All Ben Bolins and the Noel Brown Identity.
Ridiculous crime.
Say it one more time.
Ridiculous crime.
Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.